Hello and welcome to this Who's Views Merchandise Paradise special. And are we excited? Because it's season 20.
Hello.
Hello there, how are you?
Hello.
Listen, thanks for joining me, guys.
Not
Yes,
bad,
we
how
are
are you?
here. Oh,
Can you hear us?
oh my goodness, what's happening? I'm getting a feedback here. Can you guys hear me now?
I can hear you, yes.
I can hear you fine. Yeah,
Right,
no
okay.
problem at all.
Right, as long as you can hear me, that's all right. Well,
It's because we're all so excited.
it is because we're all so
That's
excited
it.
because we have heard in the last wee while, in the last hour, in fact, that BBC Studios have announced that season 20 is going to be released as the box set.
And I've
Fantastic
just
news.
seen
It's
the
about
trailer.
time. It's about time.
It is about time, actually. Yes, this is great. So what we're doing here, obviously, is we are going to be looking at what season 20 is going to be offering here on box set. They are saying that this is the biggest box set that they've done so far, which is fantastic. So what we've got here is BBC Studios have just released this wonderful press release. I'm going to go through that, guys, and get your take on this. Okay, is that all right?
Yeah.
So we're looking at BBC Studios continues to offer Doctor Who fans the opportunity to build their own home archive on Blu-ray with a limited edition 9-disc set starring Peter Davison as the Fifth Doctor from 1983 and the 20th season. 9 discs.
9. Fantastic.
Yes, I think the biggest we've had so far is 8, yeah?
Was that
I
season
think
2?
it is.
Yeah, I think so.
Right.
Yeah. So what I've got here is obviously season 20. It comes up with, lots of various things. So we've got Arc of Infinity, we've got Snake Dance. I'll put this up with Mordrin Undead, Terminus, Enlightenment, the King's Demons, and the 5 Doctors. So we've got some graphics here for you as well, everybody that's watching. In case you haven't seen this, it has really just dropped on us. This is the cover.
Lovely.
It's a beautiful cover.
It is.
Another cracker from Lee Binding. Fabulous.
Yes.
Absolutely. Now, I hope this is coming through all right for you if you're watching, but I have got here a delay on this show, so I do apologize. I don't know what's going on. It was all right when we just had the rehearsal beforehand, but now we've gone live. It's all gone mad on my end.
Are you hearing us now?
Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you fine, JT. Yep.
Right, okay, well go on. Well, now this is the box set here. So look at that. Isn't that fantastic with this 9 edition box set here? Now, guys, let's go through some of this, shall we? Because this is a really, really, really busy box set. Hello to everybody that's watching us, by the way.
Hello, everyone.
Oh, look, is Bedouia. Bedouia saying it's so exciting. Yes, it is.
Hi, Bedouia. Nice to see you again.
Sam there as well, because he said, hi there, emergency video for the box set. It is emergency video indeed, yeah. So what we've got here, let's go through this. Brand new restoration of the original 1983 anniversary special, The 5 Doctors, with optional 2023 special effects, new 5.1 soundtrack, and multiple audio commentaries featuring Peter Davison, David Tennant, Elizabeth Sladen, Nicholas Courtney, Janet Fielding, Mark Strickson, Carol Ann Ford, and more. I love it when they always say and more. So that's something we'll come to in a second, because that's really, really quite good. We've got brand new updated special effects for Snake Dance and Enlightenment, which, do you guys think that might be the ones from the DVD release?
Yes, they did an awful lot of work on Enlightenment before, so I doubt very much they could do much more with that. Although the 5 Doctors is proving us wrong.
Well, yeah. Right. That's a laugh. We'll come to that in a second, but that's brilliant. We've also got here making of documentaries exclusive to this Blu-ray. New documentaries covering Arc of Infinity and the King's Demons. Brand new featurettes, including a new interview with Martin Clunes. Now, the trailer we'll come to in a second as well, but this looked quite fun on the trailer. On the Road, the Trip of a Lifetime with Peter Davison and Janet Fielding and Sarah Sutton, a European road trip. That's going to be interesting to see how far into Europe they actually got, let's face it. Janet Fielding and Sarah Sutton are going to be talking to Matthew Sweet. The usual behind the sofa Blu-ray trailer, a brand new short film made to promote this Blu-ray release. Rare convention footage. Now that's of interest, I think, to all of us as fans, really. Archive treats. And much, much more. It comes here. PDF, written archive scripts, rare archival material, the special features previously released on the DVD, including making of documentaries, featurettes, audio commentaries, info text, isolated music, and more. This is huge, guys.
It's almost huge enough to excuse the wait we've had for this. So if it's as good as it sounds, then we can excuse everything, including the wait.
Yeah, I thought they were waiting till the 70th anniversary before we get it, not the 60th.
Well, I have to say, I mean, in fandom, this has been one of the worst kept secrets ever, because, you know, we were speculating that season 20 was on the way right back in, January 2023, this year. We thought it was coming along. We had heard that there were actual bits and pieces. Hi, Lex, nice to see you.
Hello.
We'd heard that there were bits and pieces coming through, were being filmed. You know, lots going on there. So this is a great way, really, to be able to say, well, we were right in our sources back then, but it has been a long wait. Whatever the reason it's going, that has been a really long wait. But you know what? Looking at that as well, I'm inclined. I mean, personally, I've got to wait even longer because, as you know, I get the standard editions.
Yeah.
But this is beautiful. And when you look at this, I mean, this is fantastic, isn't it? So season 20, guys. Thoughts on season 20? I mean, is it as important a season for you guys as it is for me?
It's definitely for me, JT and John. I this is my first real attempt at recording Doctor Who off my VCR, and I recorded Arc of Infinity, and our area was a bit dodgy. We had a bit of ghosting on it, so some of my early recordings were a bit rubbish. But I still got to watch them, and Arc of Infinity, right through to the 5 Doctors, is a great series. It really is. It's up there with one of the best for me because it's when I really joined fandom as well, and it's a huge kind of nostalgia for me. And I met a lot of friends about that time as well as fans who are still my pals now, which is a great time for me, great memories.
Yeah, and just for younger viewers, VCRs and VHS, that was, in the time of the dinosaurs, how we watched programs again. You couldn't pause it live or go back to it or catch up with it later. It didn't stream. It just jammed, basically. But it was a way of watching what was the 20th anniversary season of Doctor Who back then. And yeah, I'm with you, Paul. It was about this time that I was starting to, or my parents were starting to delve into our radio rentals, rented VHS recorder. We didn't buy them then, we rented them.
Exactly, yeah.
The whole season 1920 thing just is a very happy time for me in terms of memories of not only where I was as a person and as a family with my friends, but just a happy time in terms of Doctor Who. Doctor Who had been reborn after the Baker years, and although season 20 at the time came in for a lot of criticism, as do most Doctor Who seasons, when you look back on this, you look back with tremendous fondness because it was full of, while fan-pleasing moments, it was still the sort of program that the viewers were tuning into in big numbers, you know, and this box set will mean for me just rekindling that sense of anniversary which we got during that year, which unfortunately, and I don't want to pour cold water on things, which unfortunately we're not getting this year. So season 20, even 40 years on, is still doing the business.
Yeah,
I totally agree. And I mean, you can actually as well. I mean, I've said it before on our shows. I'm going to say it again right now. 1983 was far better than 2023. You did have that sense of celebration. We were celebrating the 20th year of the longest running science fiction series in the world. And we had a brilliant season of which we are now getting the box set, which started off, as you can see there, in January 1983. It went right through to March 1983. It was on twice a week on BBC One in prime time, television time. As you say, John, the viewing figures for each of the episode, the stories there were really, really good. They were between the 7 and 9 million mark. It was on twice a week. It was absolutely fantastic. We were treated to a wonderful, wonderful series. And the whole thing about season 20 is it was celebrating itself. John Nathan Turner, the producer at the time, Worked with Eric Sayward, who was the script editor at the time, pictures on the right. And what John Nathan Turner wanted to do, he understood, whatever you think about John, he understood what a celebration, what a party was. And what he wanted was every single story had to contain something from the Doctor's past. And we got that in spades. And that was the brilliant thing about it. So Arc of Infinity, we had Omega. And then we've got Snake Dance. We had the Return of the Mara from the series before, Mordrin and Dead, the Black Guardian, the Brigadier, Terminus carried on the Black Guardian, didn't it? Enlightenment, again, the Black Guardian with the White Guardian, the King's Demons, the Master, and the Five Doctors, practically everything. And that's why it worked. It was such a roller coaster ride. And to see this finally now hitting on this gorgeous, fantastic Blu-ray box set, it's a treat for Doctor Who fans everywhere, because buy this and you're going to be seeing what you are missing in the 60th anniversary year. I'm not afraid to say that. At all.
I've pre-ordered mine already, JT, as I mentioned earlier. So I've ordered mine already. So I'm off to a start. Hopefully, we'll get a date at some point.
Well, yes, that's what we need to say here, because this is Merchandise Paradise. This is the show on Who's Views, where I go through all the usual forthcoming pre-releases, of which this is the big one, of course. Now for us, this is the big one, and I have to say that there is no release date given as of yet. So season 20, 9 discs, as we said. It's a recommended retail price of £54.99 and no release date given. Now that price is in pounds sterling. That's the UK price. I have no information as to when it's, or if you're in Australia, it's going to be released abroad, and if so, when or what prices it will be. So I'm sorry we can't help you on that. We will report on that another time. But yes, this is all about talking about season 20 and its release here in the UK.
If I may say, it's
of
interesting. The price, JT, has gone up quite substantially from, and I know there's a cost of living crisis and inflation has gone through the roof, but I wonder how much of that is to do with cost of living and how much is to do with the actual extra features which are appearing on this. I mean, I don't mind paying 54 quid for something if it's 54 quid's worth of material. And so far the box sets have all been worth the price we paid for them. I mean, when you're paying £10.99, 11 quid for a Doctor Who magazine, which lies in your bedroom cabinet, untouched, as we discussed on a previous Sunday breakfast show, then that's nonsense. But from what we see in terms of the trailer, in terms of the content of this, it's £54 well spent.
I get that, and Lex is saying here that he absolutely agrees with you on that one. I love Gary here. Hi, Gary. Nice to see you. For the first couple of stories, he taped it on the video and backed up with audio with C90 cassette until he got used to the video. Do you know what, mate? I used to do the same thing. I used to have my sister press and play and record downstairs on the VCR, on the Ferguson Video Star. I'd be upstairs with the audio, getting it going. Oh, happy days. Delighted to say that another member of the team hasn't been able to join us now. And live, this is what I call commitment. Because live from his hospital bed is the Time Miller himself. It's Brendan. Hello.
Hello.
How are you feeling,
Brendan?
Good, thanks, everyone. Well, this was not planned, was it? So no, that's good news to cheer me up, I have to say, because we were waiting for it, weren't we? And I've just come on, so I've missed what you've said, but basically I can get the gist, which is this is the time I was involved in videoing it, getting the audio from the video, playing the audio through the night, color coding every Arc of Infinity, then and I color coded it so that you had the trilogy separate to the master one, and then when they're all on the shelf when I was at university, after that I could go back to that one. No, this was the peak time. The more I think about it, it's all around that Longleat time, and I remember seeing Peter Davison loads of times just wandering around Longleat, and I always think Tom Baker was my Doctor, but Peter Davison was mine as a young kind of 12, 13-year-old. It was trendy then. I do remember, for example, when it was this series, when the Doctor Who magazine was reflecting every story that was coming up. Brilliant publicity shot. And you'd take it, sneak it into school, and there were you and a couple of others who at registration would be looking up what the next story was about. So I remember the excitement for, I mean, season 20, we were all talking about it, weren't we? What it was going to be about, who was coming up, you know, the rumours about the Daleks and all the rest of it. You know,
it was brilliant though. I mean, it was a great time to be a fan, and the fact that you had the Blackpool and Longleat Doctor Who exhibitions that year, celebrating and getting in on that as well. We also had the big convention, of course, with Longleat, which is obviously going to be on this, because I'm really excited and looking forward to this rare convention footage. That's going to be great if they've actually uncovered anything else. But season 20 as a whole as well, as we've mentioned there, it had something from the past in all the stories, like the Fifth Doctor finally meeting the legendary Nicholas Courtney with the Brigadier, and not just once, but twice in Mordred Undead, which was a gorgeous sort of looking time travel music story. But we also had the introduction of Mark Strickson as Turlough, because yes, he turns up in Mordred Undead in this season, didn't he? And I don't know about you guys, but the whole thing about season 20 for me was it was still feeling fresh, and it was very of its time as well. You know what I mean? It's so 1983, even though they recorded it in 82. It's unbelievable. It's fitting in with every other single drama and TV show that's on the air at the time. You know what I mean?
It's definitely got a freshness, as John was saying earlier. You know, the fact that the Davison era became a kind of renaissance of Doctor Who, and it really is very much so at that point. And it's, as I said earlier, got great memories, some great characters appearing, coming back, like Omega, the Mara, the Brigadier, the Black Guardian, like you said, some great moments. And then culminating in the Five Doctors. I mean, I know you've covered this already in another review, but the Five Doctors, what a cracker that is.
Well, let's talk about that while we're on that subject of the Five Doctors, because on this edition, we're getting what, the 50th, 60th, 70th version of the Five Doctors. Now, John will be rolling in his grave. He didn't like the one that we did, but now here we're getting another edition of the Five Doctors as part of this wonderful box set. Guys, what's your initial feelings about this?
Well, whether or not they've done it, we would have bought the forgive my voice. I've been there. I'm so excited. We would buy it despite another version of the Five Doctors. We would be buying this anyway. So that's neither here nor there. It'll be interesting to see what they do with it. I saw briefly on the trailer, which I've seen once, and we'll talk about the trailer hopefully, because I think that's the reason why my voice is going, because of the trailer. I squeezed and squeezed and squealed for ages there. But
we'll talk about that.
What they had done
Didn't we all? Yeah.
it looked very different. So obviously there's different things going on there. It'll be nice to see it. But I'm hoping that's not the reason for the increase in price, because I've already flogged us this several times in many different ways. I'll be quite happy just to see all the added extras, what they've done with season 20, and the Five Doctors extra bits will come as a little bit of a bonus.
It's absolutely fun. You know, I mean, it will be. That's the way to look at it. Paul, what do you think?
The Five Doctors, like I said, is one of my favourite stories. Whether they need extra special effects, I don't know. I like the original effects with the little triangle. I'm not sure, but they've replaced the ice cream cone now with some other obelisky things. I don't know about that, but it depends. If the sound's better and they've cleaned the picture up again, I don't know what else they could do with it. They've changed it and cleaned up so many times. I don't know, but I'm sure it'll still be fabulous.
Yeah. It's something to look forward to. It's nice to get another alternative. Brendan, while you're there in hospital, have you seen the trailer yet?
No.
Well, we're about to spoil it for you.
No problem.
and tell those nurses to shut up. You're on the air. Tell them to be quiet.
I think they've come to get his bedpan.
They'll be taking me away thinking, what's he talking about behind that curtain?
The trailer, guys. I mean, the trailer dropped shortly after the announcement that season 20 was actually on the way. As we say, we've got to point out there is no release date as yet. That's really important that we point that out. The trailer arrived. I mean, I looked at that trailer before we came on air for this very special Merchandise Paradise, and my goodness, it blew me away. This was a absolute proper Doctor Who gem. This is an episode in itself, all contained within however many minutes it was. Time passed. Massive twists in it. Your initial reactions, please, John.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, lost voice. There you go. I'd already had a sore throat. It was even worse the time I had watched this. I had apoplexy watching this because it was so beautifully, beautifully done, linking all so well. An absolute kudos to, sorry for spoiling this, Brendan, to Sarah Sutton, because having seen Sarah in all these box sets as herself on the Behind the Sofa features, when she speaks and says her first line as Nyssa, she's Nyssa. She's got that voice again. She just sounds, so when people talk about, oh, Sarah Sutton, she didn't do much, she immediately finds that voice, that character straight away again. And it just, for an old fan like myself, who was there 40 years ago for the 20th, that really pulled at my heartstrings. Now, admittedly, Janet Fielding as Tegan's one of my favourite companions ever too.
Yeah.
But we'd seen Janet quite recently. But when she was called, and we knew she was going to meet someone, my head was working thinking Mark Strickson. But no, it was Nyssa, and it was Sarah Sutton. As I say, she just found that part again so quickly after all those years. Now, I know she's done Big Finish. I don't do Big Finish, so I'm unaware of what goes on there. But for someone like me who doesn't do that, and that I constitute the bulk of fandom, I'd imagine, who don't do Big Finish, that was a beautiful surprise. And I can't wait to show this particular trailer to all sorts of other friends who are sort of not necessarily fans, but enjoy Doctor Who, because I'm sure it'll have the same effect in them, just seeing these characters from their youth back on screen again. And you're right, JT, beautifully written, beautifully acted, beautifully produced. There was more value in those few minutes than there was in the last few seasons of Chibnall. Beautiful.
Oh, okay.
I know I haven't seen it, but who wrote it? Because
Pete McTeague. Yeah.
He's getting better at them, I have to say. The last few I've really, really liked.
Well,
very emotional.
Before we ask Paul what his take on this was, I have to say I think this was the best trailer to date, because they are getting better and better. And I say this about every single one when it comes through, but this one is mind blowing. It blew me away. Paul, would you agree with that, or you got an alternative take?
I really liked it. My favourite so far was the Maureen O'Brien one from series 2, which was great. But this one has blown my mind. As John said, having Sarah Sutton in it playing this, I do a bit of Big Finish myself, so I'm aware of what she does in that. But having her on screen was amazing, and she really pulled it off. And I don't want to spoil too much for Brendan, because he's going to watch it at some point, hopefully after we go off air. But it's actually the bits with the Mara and stuff in it are lovely, and it's a really nice twist at the end. And I actually thought the Doctor was going to appear at one point. He doesn't, but it was lovely to see Nyssa played by Sarah Sutton beautifully, and all the little clips coming up look fabulous, absolutely fabulous.
Yeah, I mean, what got me about the trailer is it looks like I'm not the only fan all these years that's wondered, is the Mara still in Tegan's mind? Yes. And here it is. It's addressed. It is. It's stuck on Earth. It looks like it wants to get off Earth, but it needs Tegan's cooperation to do that. But she's old enough, and quite frankly, she's lived, doesn't she, now, to be able to say, "Bugger off, you're not going to do this." But she's still intimidated. Wonderful trailer, wonderfully put together.
It does, because it does have a resolution. It just doesn't leave you hanging. It shows that while this, we're left in the understanding that the Mara is still very much part of Tegan's psyche, where it's still resolved in the end that Tegan very much has the better of this thing, and she's able to control it. So and it opens up possibilities. Who knows for the future in spin-offs, whatever Doctor Who goes. So,
and it's good. I mean, I'm playing catch up here, but when you say it was touching how that Sarah Sutton found a voice again as Nyssa. And when this series came out, her departure in Terminus was what I think one of the saddest I'd seen ever as a Doctor Who fan up to that point. And yeah, I'm not heavily into Big Finish, but I've always found Nyssa has been the underrated character. And as you know, Peter Davison adores her character and thinks it works best. And so it's interesting what you're saying, John, about how she found her voice, because it's her voice I kind of quite liked anyway in that series. Because Tegan and Turlough obviously had that kind of thing going on. And Nyssa stands out in many ways as a classic companion, doesn't she?
And because I don't do Big Finish, I will ever hear Sarah Sutton either recently at a convention in Gatwick,
Gatwick.
and you're the back to behind the sofa things. But so just for me, this was the first time I'd heard her voice again as Nissa after 40 years. And to see and to hear her do that was just magnificent. To see what a skilled actress to recapture that part, and that the youthfulness of Nissa's voice still was very much there. It was brilliant.
Yeah.
What I thought say Sutton brought to it was in the same way McGann did on the Night of the Doctor, because they had done a bit of character work before in audio. It's like they'd never been away. You know, Paul McGann, when he was on Night of the Doctor, was fabulous, and so was Sarah Sutton. I think it's a lovely acting from both of them.
It really was, wasn't it? It was fantastic. But we are saying, although the long rotating shot when Tegan woke up was weird, yeah, you can say I'm going to have to watch it again on that, because I was expecting that pan where something's going to be at the end of the bed, whether it be the Mara or the Doctor, whomever, you know, and then it just pans around to basically shows she's in her bedroom.
Yes.
I mean, you know, it was a bit odd, but it's probably arty, and it's probably going all over our heads here. But yeah, that trailer is just absolutely amazing. If you haven't seen this, and hopefully by the time you've joined us on this show, you have done. You know what we're talking about. You know how glossy it is, how effective it is, how wonderfully staged it is, and how it's produced. It's a proper little Doctor Who story. It's a proper little segment, and you can fit it into the story of Tegan today. You know, simply because we know where she is now and we know she's around.
She also wears the same costume she wore.
I saw that. Well, I think that jacket is actually stuck to Janet Fielding at the moment, because she seems to be wearing it wherever she goes. And one thing I do want to know about these things: how have these ex-companions of the Doctor's got massive houses and brilliant kitchens? How have they managed to do that? They spent 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years away from Earth, for crying out loud. How have they managed to do that?
She must have got an air hostess pension or something. I don't know what.
Well, she's got a pilot license now. She mentions
course,
that. I think that's absolutely fantastic what we've got there. But it does bring that through. I mean, well done to everybody that's put that together, to the writer, to the producer, to the actors, to everybody that's worked on that, because it's another gem. And yet, 10 out of 10 from us on the panel here. We think it's absolutely wonderful, and it just made this long-awaited announcement for season 20 worth it, because we've suddenly forgotten that we've been waiting since the beginning of the year for another one. So we're excited about this. This is a big thumbs up from us, isn't it?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Oh, 2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up, yeah.
2 thumbs up.
But just looking, I can't wait to get into the special features. I mean, to get Martin Clunes and conversation with James looks spectacular, because he got so big. He seemed to run away from his Doctor Who involvement, because he had him in that embarrassing costume, which was embarrassing at the time, but subsequently became embarrassing for him. So for him to speak and embrace Doctor Who, and it looks they're holding a set, one of the Mara artifacts. He's holding that, so obviously somebody's given them that to talk about. So they're actually using a sort of proper what do you call them? Props from the show.
Props,
proper props from the show to have a discussion over. Plus all the other stuff, as you said, JT, that whole road trip with Peter Davison, Janet Fielding, and Sarah Sutton. Now, within the 30 seconds, 45 seconds, there was more arguing there than it was in an episode of Question Time. You know, so, as you say, if they manage to make it out of the Channel Tunnel, I think they're doing well.
I love the fact that there's that banter, especially between Janet and Peter.
Yes.
And I feel for Peter sometimes, because sometimes I get the impression that he's tolerating her because he's known her for 40-something years. Oh, right. And I just love that fact, because he's so down to earth, Mr. Davison, isn't he? He's so grounded. And sometimes it just reminds me of the Odd Couple type thing, because she never lets it go with him, does she? She established this relationship with him back in 1981, and it's still very much there. It's just that they're older. I think it's gorgeous. I think it's absolutely fantastic. So we've got lots here. Just to point out that the behind the sofa on this includes not just, of course, Peter Davison, Janet Fielding, Sarah Sutton, and Mark Strickson, but it's also including Colin Baker and Sylvester McCoy, because as we mentioned earlier, or as one of our viewers mentioned earlier, Colin Baker is also in season 20. He plays Maxwell in Arc of Infinity, doesn't he? We've mentioned this before in our Colin at 80 birthday special for him a few weeks ago.
I'd be very disappointed if they missed him out on Behind the Sofa. I'm really glad he's there, because it's a no-brainer, isn't it, to have him on it?
Oh, totally. Yeah, with Maxwell, yeah. I mean, we'll get all the jokes, but this must be, you know, I mean, come on, it's the time when he can actually look at this, isn't it? It's the time when he can actually go along and talk about that, and then see where the rest of the series went, because he may not have caught up with season 20 for quite a while. So I think that's quite, I think it's brilliant to have him. And then they've got McCoy in there as well. Interesting.
Well, I was going to say, it's an interesting thing. They've got a replacement of the captain of the guards because he got cast as the Doctor round about that time as well, didn't he? So he's not in the Five Doctors. Another actor's playing the captain of the guard. So he never gets named, does he? He's not got a name, I don't think, the captain. It's not
just as well for Colin because he gets killed.
Yeah.
Well, that's true. True. Yeah. That's very, very true. Yeah. So there's lots to look forward into this. I'll just go through these features again for you. We've got the Five Doctors 40th anniversary restoration, the 40th, guys. Brand new restoration of the original 1983 anniversary special with HD film material, optional 2023 special effects, a new 5.1 soundtrack, and multiple audio commentaries featuring Peter Davison, David Tennant, Elizabeth Sladen, Nicholas Courtney, Janet Fielding, Mark Strix, and Caroline Ford, and more. Brand new updated special effects for Snake Dance and Enlightenment. It's the words brand new on that gets me. We'll have to wait and see, I guess. Making of documentaries exclusive to this Blu-ray. New documentaries covering Arc of Infinity and the King's Demons. Brand new featurettes, including a new interview with Martin Clunes, as we've mentioned. On the Road, the trip of a lifetime. A European road trip with Peter, Janet, and Sarah. In conversation with Matthew Sweet, he's chatting to Janet Fielding and Sarah Sutton there. Behind the Sofa, we've mentioned studio footage, immersive 5.1 surround sound exclusive new surround mixes for Snake Dance and the Five Doctors, the rare convention footage, archive treats, PDF written archive scripts and rare archival material, the Five Doctors 1995 special edition, and a lot more. This is a big, fabulous 20th anniversary release. This is amazing. And all power to them for bringing all this out. This is absolutely fantastic.
There's lots to look forward to, but we're talking about nostalgia early on at the start of the broadcast, and the thing that I like the most is to dip into old archival TV. I love all the bits from Breakfast Time and Nationwide and all that kind of stuff. So I'm really looking forward to all that stuff. That's fabulous. Takes me right back.
It really does, because I remember that was the other thing about the 20th anniversary in 1983. Doctor Who was everywhere. It was on the Breakfast Time, it was on Superstore, it was on Blue Peter, it was on Nationwide. It was everywhere, wasn't it? I mean, I always had that video cassette ready in the machine. Nobody else was allowed to. It had to be in there ready, so I could just go bang with play and record whenever somebody came on. But it was everywhere, and it's great for our friends abroad to be able to see all these gems that they may not necessarily seen before from British television of the past, because it's not like that anymore. Let's face it as well. Sudoku 24 there. I mean, I'll put this up again. To be honest, I'm far from the biggest fan of this era or this season, but Enlightenment and the Five Doctors, the only two I'd really rate. That's fair enough, isn't it? That's fair enough. Yeah,
fair enough. Fair enough.
But you know, are you still going to get this Blu-ray when it comes your way? Are you still going to buy that one? He also says that the Five Doctors has a special place in his heart with the first Who VHS. What was that? The $9.99 Woolies version. Yeah, but it was, I'm happy
and we'll be buying it.
On the subject of the Five Doctors, I was going to say there's a great Blue Peter appearance of Richard Hundle, which is a fabulous, having him a second chance to pop in as the first Doctor on Blue Peter. That was lovely.
Oh yeah, and hopefully that'll be on that, because that was for the coach, wasn't it? The van. Actually,
I think it's on the last DVD release. It's on that, I think. So it should be on it.
Well, as you can tell, we are hyped up about this. This was announced just over an hour ago today. We are actually delighted that this is coming. And as you can see, we are all excited. What's this? The Easter egg, especially for Brendan, is the Phoenix Rises black and white lost story. Yeah, that's true, Gary. Thank you for that. We've mentioned that before on one of our shows. Can't remember which one it is now, so that's great. So listen, this is a very special merchandise paradise. We wanted to bring you this very short show basically to share with you the news that season 20 is coming along. No release date given, but it is on the way. It's going to be 9 discs, as we keep saying. It's going to be retail recommended price of $54.99, and there it is there. Let me get rid of that banner for you. There it is there with all its glory. How wonderful is that? Very, very excited. Obviously, we're going to be keeping a date. We're going to be keeping an eye on the date and what have you. And when we've got any news for you, we'll bring that to you as well. So listen, gents, this was a very quick Merchandise Paradise special to celebrate the launch of season 20. Thank you all for joining me. Thank you especially to Brendan for that in his hospital bed live with the doctors and nurses of the hospital.
Nurse, the screams.
Oh, he's poorly. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. Sadeku's actually saying he does like the cover of that. It is another Lee Binding, as you said, Brendan. It's another Lee Binding classic. It's absolutely fantastic. So yeah, this is Who's Views. Obviously, we do awful lot of stuff here for you, and you can see we've got lots coming on. We've got our reviews, and we started our reviews of season 20 as if we knew this was actually coming a little while ago with the 5 Doctors. You can see our review of the 5 Doctors. And in a couple of weeks' time, we are going to be doing Mordrin Undead. That's going to come to you in a couple of weeks' time. If you are still with us later on today, as we are putting this show out, join us at 6:30 for our trip back to 1988 as we talk all things remembrance of the Daleks as we delve into the 25th anniversary year. It's all go on this channel, you know. It's all go. Let's have a look. Oh, look at this. Bedweir saying all the best to you. There you go. We've got this one here from Lex. Thanks, JT, in the panel. That was great. And get well soon. And Sam's making a very point. Just keep an eye out for the BFI date. It will be released shortly after that. Let's hope so. Yeah, it is a good point. And if anyone's going to that, let us know because you can report for us. That would be great, wouldn't it? We can get some report from a BFI. Keep well and join Gary. That is so good of you. Thank you very much. Hopefully you can all join us again at 6:30 later on for more of what we're doing here when we do go and see Remembrance of the Daleks. Oh, and I nearly forgot. You will be able to get this on pre-order right now from all the usual stockists, including our friends over at the Who Shop, Galaxy 4. And if you're in America, get in touch over there with Who NA. Yeah, because all those will be stocking this lovely, lovely release. And I'm sure they're just as excited today as we are. So that's it for this very special edition of Merchandise Paradise. Thank you for tuning in for us. Yeah, we'll see you again. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already and have a look at all our content. It's nice to see that our views are picking up and they all seem to be quite healthy. And we love the fact that everybody's getting in touch with us. Please, more of that. We need to know what you're thinking about. But join us later on for Remembrance of the Daleks if you can. Guys, thanks again for joining me on this.
You're
welcome.
Merchandise Paradise, we'll be back hopefully soon with any more news of what's going on in the land of the toy box. Ooh, we'll see you again. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.
Okay, well, soon, Brendan. See you soon. Bye-bye.